Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am, as always, Mariah Afolabi Brown, and I have my co-host. Hi, ladies.
Excellent morning.
Glamour in the building.
Zo.
The glammest ma.
Zo.
How you
Hey,
doing?
meanwhile, before I talk, see, my dress is stained. They
You
give me
can't see it.
cake.
Why? It's only you that
It's
can see
almost
it.
dry now.
It's almost
Calm
dry.
down.
Chocolate.
Why can't
Let her
wake up
confess her sins.
Nigeria's
Let her
cake?
confess.
The cake was serious.
Yes, cake flare did this time.
Serious.
Yes.
Hey.
They
You
did
have our show this morning when you both of you were struggling to get
Me
it.
that I'm on a diet. I ate 2 pieces of chocolate cake dipped in melted chocolate.
Anyway.
Ah.
Chineke.
Oh,
And you're on a diet.
I'm on a serious
she's on the diet.
Anyway, how you doing, Waiki?
I'm fine.
It's Thursday. I'm not seeing you tomorrow. What plans for the weekend do you have?
My friend's father died, so I'm going for the funeral tomorrow. Today I have a meeting. Saturday, I'm going to Joker Jacobs. I have my New Era old girls meeting, and Joker Jacobs' son's wedding.
Who's that?
Joker Jacobs.
Silver.
Joker's son, yes.
Actor.
Don't disgrace yourself.
No, it's Joker Silver we know her as now.
But
Joker-
I'm married.
husband.
She's
Married
married
to
now.
Jacob.
We don't call her
But
Joker
you know her
Jacobs.
stage
We
name
call her
is Silver.
Joker
still
Silver.
Silver.
Is it still silver?
Since. Yeah,
didn't
baby.
Yes, so her son is getting married. Oh, I saw the engagement where everybody was there. Oh, so you got an invite. Oh,
I did.
okay.
I was shocked. I didn't even know.
Aw.
Because they gave it to my partner who didn't tell me, but told me, showed me, say, make sure you have this color.
To go away.
I sent him a very seriously worded text. Yes,
Why?
because
Yeah,
he
why?
knows me. I need to plan my
Plan,
life.
oh, so
I
true.
plan.
Till some point.
That's why
color
it's
on
closed.
point.
The polish has to
Everything
be.
has to go.
So now it's not going to be on point because you gave me
get it.
late notice. Can you imagine?
Anyways, how you doing, Nima?
The important things I wanted to say I've not said.
Mikey, you've lost your time already. Sorry, next week.
Please, I just have to say, look, your view, we make an impact on people's lives. You know, we do make a very, so let's not doubt it. I met Esther in London, and then one customs guy, and the kind of texts I get, people that we help, so we mustn't forget them. And people
Kudos to
forget
them.
D-Board.
Fantastic.
That's
You
your
can talk about D-Board.
D-Board
Thank you.
now.
You
Oh,
know,
D-Board. Yeah, D-Board sent us fragrances. Oh, goodness.
Thank you,
Thank you
D-Board.
so much.
Thanks to D-Board. We got YK got the delivery yesterday.
Yes.
At the shrine, and it's for the ladies of your view. Thank you so much to
Got in the
D-Board.
package.
And
Thank
I also
you.
got an Ankara bubu from Ashok Folakemi.
Wow.
Yeah, she sent me Ashoke. She does
Nice.
Ashoke. Yeah, she does Ashoebi actually, not Ashoke, Ashoebi. She sent me a nice one. I'm going to wear it tomorrow, so hopefully I send it. It's a nice houseware, but it's nice. How are you doing, madam? Any plans for
very
the
well.
weekend?
Hey, weekend plans is just to stay away from Apapa Oshodi Expressway.
No, don't worry, it's on the front page. You have time to
I'll
talk about it.
But yesterday was a nice, very nice time at Unilag. Thank you so much, sisters.
Oh,
for
that's
for the
true.
talk. I couldn't stay for so long because of the traffic. I was scared that my son was under the weather, but we thank God.
Fantastic.
And you know, something amazing has been happening to me. I've been smelling my mother's food.
How?
It's been a long time I saw her. I woke up this morning smelling her stew.
Oh my God.
Yesterday, smelling all the way down. I just smelled beans. Something is wrong with me.
Please go and
It's my
visit.
mother's kitchen that will not leave my memory. I know
I
I'm
know,
missing
go
her
and visit,
serious.
go and visit.
While I was in London, I smelled beans. Since I came back, I've been eating beans every day.
I have a friend that was traveling abroad, and she cooks. I don't know how she cooks like big buckets of food. Anyway,
And so-
she gave me like
freezes them.
8 carton, not carton, buckets, bowls of food, big bowls. And it's like, so
Soups?
no kitchen, I'm not in kitchen, everything, all types of soup, egusi,
Wow,
ogbono,
For free?
stew.
Some people just love to cook.
I'm coming to
Our
visit.
friend,
Our mutual
I'm coming
friend.
to
our
visit.
mutual friend. So every day we just warm me food.
Ah,
How you doing,
that's
Jerry?
amazing. I had a modeling job day before yesterday after the show, so I just rushed down. When I got there was so much food I was just eating all through yesterday
What
night.
I
I was
did
in the
is
toilet.
Fit for the dress.
What I did eat cake today.
I've been in the toilet all through, so I need to take something and just
That's
chill.
that's
Too
what
much
they call awoof,
food.
they run
I dey
belle.
tell you.
I hope that dip hasn't finished. I really need to get back to that dip.
well,
That chocolate
please.
dip.
And you're
In fact,
dieting.
Maybe some, you know, some.
No, you didn't
Miriam,
taste the
You
cake.
didn't taste it.
Miriam, you can hear.
It
Let's
melted in your mouth.
I
It
can only
melted.
pour that chocolate on some carrots and some
Like I'm feeling
cucumbers,
bad right now that I
you
can't
know,
taste
it'd be
it.
nice. But let's go on a break. Let's not talk about that. It's Thursday. When we come back, we'll breeze through the front pages because we don't have gist. But we're continuing our conversation on rape, which we started about 3 weeks ago. So we'll conclude it today. But first, let's look at the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Oh, we're back. Starting with the Punch. Buhari government confused, incompetent to stem killing, says Obasanjo. Picture here of Chibok girls abductors paraded here by the police. Oyo Poly workers begin indefinite strike. Buhari Onohe ACF mourn as ex-CJN Castina Alu dies at 76. Twins die in auto crash after visiting mother. Senate okays 348 billion naira subsidy payment to oil marketers. FG unveils new national carrier, Nigeria Air targets 81 routes. Saraki secondus Lamido orders secret talks over 2019. Suspected thug set Dino Melaye's constituency project on fire. And INEC laments vote buying in Ekiti governorship election. So the human interest story, the twins, who has that story?
Taiwan,
31-year-old.
Animal Shaun went to visit their mother around Songo, Ota area. And on their way back to Ijoko, where they both lived not too far from each other, on the bike that they were on, they drove into a parked truck. And, you know, unfortunately, it was a fatal
They're actually
accident.
there with the bike rider, the Okada driver. So the three of them died instantly. And it was a truck carrying, I can't remember what it was carrying, but it was just stationed there. No sea caution, nothing to caution whoever is coming. And it was 9 p.m. at night. So obviously, the road wasn't well lit. You couldn't see, because I know that Governor Ambode has lit up most of Lagos. So there's no way any truck is parked. You can actually see. But there in Ogun State, they ran into that truck and they died instantly.
On the same day and died the same day. That's so painful.
The good thing about it is that the driver was there, so he's been arrested. Good. So
of the truck.
The driver of the truck.
Right,
and I'm sure it's Lagos that arrested him.
Who has the Melaye story? Because I know
I have the major story.
ahead.
Obasanjo has come out to attack the federal government, this administration again, that they are confused, they are incompetent, they are incapable of handling the poverty issues in the country, the insecurity issues in the country. Instead of them to proffer solutions, they are busy casting one blame and, blaming people. The past administration did this and the other one. Also, the House of Reps have, come out to tell the IG of police to curb the killings of, we've had policemen who have been killed. July 2nd in Abuja, 7 policemen were shot dead by gunmen. Even in Edo State on the 14th of July, 4 other police people. So he said that if they don't curb this, it's becoming a new pattern right now. So they have to do something about it.
I'd like to see Obasanjo prefer certain solutions to the issues on ground.
Not just coming out to talk.
He has a new coalition party, so obviously they'll start building their campaign
dialogue and all of that.
What I don't understand is, how can you be a past leader and this Nigeria is still like this, and you have the mouth to criticize another person? Just keep quiet and
just
pray
want to know who was leading this country when they collapsed our railway lines and bought trucks on the road.
He wanted a third term. Maybe he could have fixed it.
And he couldn't do that in 2 terms.
Let's move on to
in 99. We're talking about when he was in military.
See the NEPA.
Abai was not giving his third term, so he couldn't fix the nation.
I don't. Not that I even support this one, so but I mean,
Saraki, let's move on. Saraki, Wike, Tambua, autumn in defection talks, like we care. Heads to roll as federal government uncovers 62 billion fraud in NSITF. And there's a breakdown of the mismanagement going on there. Ex-CGN Castina Alu dies at 76. All right, any stories here?
Yes, so NSAITF, so the National Insurance Scheme, I think that's what it's called. Yes, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund was being investigated by the Minister for Labour. And, they've set up a panel that found out that over 62.5 billion was diverted, spent anyhow. They've not audited their accounts since 2011, and they've paid so many abuses, financial abuses.
That unauthorized allowances were paid to staff and the management. They just carry money and just share
anyhow since 2011. So the Minister for Labour said any official, past official, present official indicted in this probe
will face the law.
Moving
on now to Vanguard. Nima's people on front page. Lagos at standstill. Over 12,000 trucks choking roads. And there's a breakdown here. Yanosolo to Tinkan, 3,200 trucks. I'll just skip through. National Stadium to Eco Bridge, 874 trucks. Ijora to Palm Grove, 3,485 trucks. Down Ijora Bridge, 1,050 trucks. Agboju to Mile 12, 115 trucks. So they practically broke down the numbers of trucks packed across Lagos State. So
the total is 12,300.
Now, I'm affected by the one from Isolo down to Mile 2 and the one from Mile 2 to Agboju. that Morel just read. So imagine, over 6,000 trucks, only me one. The people on those areas, on those routes are not smiling. Unfortunately, the MPA had sanctioned 3 shipping companies for not having holding bays.
Yes.
And rather than, you know, take care of the situation and conform with the rules, these 3 shipping companies have poured out,
not
4
3.
of them, Abi,
Costco,
their trucks,
others, yes.
and we're suffering because of them. I don't know how people have the conscience to spend monies that are proceeds from this kind of businesses. People are trekking. Accidents. Yesterday there was an accident because everybody is abusing traffic now, and a lady died instantly because, you know, on that road. I don't know how they have the conscience to see us go through those things every day. Today now I don't know how I'm going to get home. It's blocked down from a solid. I don't know the alternative to get home.
It is just the thought of it. I cannot imagine what you are going through. I would not even be able to come to work if I were you.
Who is responsible to, you know, help?
There are several factors, several parties.
This is with due respect,
government.
with all sense of responsibility, a federal government problem.
It
The
is.
MPA is not under Lagos State. The truck drivers and whatever, they are not a federal a state issue. We are calling on Lagos State to do so much, but you won't even see a last one official. How is a last one official going to go
It's not a federal government road.
into
The Ports Authority, the port is a federal government thing. And they have watched this thing, you know.
It doesn't affect them.
And you see,
directly,
this
so-
kind of thing, they're supposed to have
from
ports.
Ojuelegba all the way to Costain, along Fusha Williams.
ports
They are
everywhere
part.
now.
Wow.
There's no area surrounding
You know
Apapa
what?
that they are not part.
We can't thrash this conversation right now because we have to
Southern
go.
part of Nigeria is it has
Coastal areas.
It's a coastal
We have
area.
Port
You have
Harcourt
ports
ports.
everywhere.
We have-
and decongest.
All right. So you know what? We're gonna have
Yes.
to, we'll make this an issue. We're gonna try to bring in a guest to hopefully help us
Like a
understand what's being
professional,
done.
yeah.
Let's know we can't conclude this conversation here. Let's move on very quickly to Daily Sun. 2019 defection fever. Senate states to witness mass exodus from ruling party. Buhari others mourn as ex-CJN Katsina Alu dies. I'll expose Okorocha vows Ume. FG unveils Nigeria Air as new national carrier. Herdsmen farmers clashes worse than Boko Haram, says United Nations. All right, so this United Nations story, who has that story?
Which one?
I have the
United
second
UN.
one.
No, me, I have the Ume.
I have the parade on the Chibok suspects of the Chibok girls.
Do you want to talk about that?
So
Because
21. Okay.
talk about them. I want to talk about Ume after.
Right.
All right. So
Right.
21, the commander of the Boko Haram insurgents and the Chibok, one of the commanders and the masterminders, yeah. 21 of the suspects who have been paraded in Benue State, who they've confessed that they were a part of the Chibok issue, and they were young people. Yes, they were young people who were masterminding the bombings and devices and all of that. 21 years, 20 years, 23 years, 29 years, very young people. So they are in custody at the moment. I'm happy that they are picking them out right now.
What's his name? Senator Ume. He is now facing Okorocha.
Yes.
Okorochas. Because he says that Okorocha is to use his word, a trickster and a 419 who found his way into office through fraud and deception.
Chineke.
He says since he even helped him to get into power, that he has just faced him and he's facing everybody. He's the only governor who has impeached 2 of his deputies and
Senator Ome has evidence.
Okay.
So whether he willingly tenders the evidence or not, the EFCC should please find a way to get the evidence that he has.
they must
So we
collect
can
the evidence from
investigate.
him.
Yes, so
That he can't be.
you cannot use it to blackmail on newspapers. and release them. We
He
need the
must bring
evidence.
it out. Ni.
Bring out
so
the
that
papers.
Let's talk about, listen, we have to move on very quickly. We have a few seconds left, but let's talk about the new national carrier, Nigeria Air. It's like an 81
Yay.
route. Do you like it?
I like the fact that
I like the logo,
it's a
actually.
private,
It's very
private
simple.
PPP.
Yeah.
And the federal government, I read in papers this morning, only have 5% equity in the.
So they
in the
said.
Is that a
arrangement.
good thing?
So they said.
At least so that we're sure that it's almost totally private.
Private.
So because everything that is federal government, Nigerian property is everybody's
I think they are just trying to score points.
One at a time,
was it
please.
not private? Virgin Nigeria, okay, no, Virgin Nigeria wasn't, but Virgin Atlantic was. Please.
They are just trying to
You know
score
what?
points.
Let's be optimistic.
For
don't
these
want- I'm being
2019
optimistic.
elections.
That's why I don't want to talk
They
too
should
much.
focus on the main
They should do the
issues.
work. When they have done it, I will be the first
have
to praise
security
them. I will
issues
travel
here.
by them. Arik, they are still owing me money.
Egbe.
Okay, let's go and collect
That's
your
the only
person.
me
I will do that one for you.
Nima will help you.
I will do that one for
I want to support Nigeria.
Okay, listen.
Nima will help you.
Nigeria Air will start December 2018. Give them a try. In fact, it's best to book now. Because it's in 5 years that we have start having issues. But this is the first 1 year,
So you are not
they'll be
very
best.
new.
Are you trying to
I
run away
am
from the
confident
country?
that
Saying it is
for the
that 5
first,
years, me, I want to travel with them. No, I know that.
They
the
would have
first
scattered
1
by
year,
then.
2 years, you can guarantee there'll be international standards. That's when, it's after that, we'll start worrying.
That is the
So
problem I have. It is, if we start badly now,
we are not
and
starting
then
badly.
grow. No, improve. That is the way it's
Over
supposed to
time,
be.
yes.
we have
That's
to
the way
run.
it's supposed to be.
Unfortunately, it's not our hot topic, so we have to drop it now. Let's move on.
It has to be our hot topic next week.
Please leave Nigeria air. And I think
still
you
need
should be
money.
taking Nigeria closer to the world instead of bringing Nigeria. But anyway, we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, more
Let's go on a
important
break.
issues.
When we come back, we'll discuss spousal and marital rape. Does it exist? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we conclude our rape series. In our society, it's believed that once you're married, the husband has every authority
Yes, so
over the woman, especially in the other room matters. The woman is meant to satisfy her husband sexually at every time. Her consent is irrelevant. In case where
nobody
she
says
is
that.
being forced without her consent, can it be considered as rape? Give us your view. You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Now, this has been highly controversial because there are lots of families, there are lots of marriages. This issue of intimacy has been a problem where women sometimes feel they're being raped. They feel like the men are taking advantage of them because they've paid the bride price. So they are owned, they feel like they are properties. And even if they feel like it or not. But in your view, have you heard of any stories, or have you come across anybody who feel in marriage that she or he were raped?
Okay, so
Lawyer.
I've had several encounters with women. There was a particular woman who met me a day I was at the gym. Then she came to ask me a question, and she said, is there any way she can do surgery to tighten her vajayjay? And I was like, why do you want to do that? She has 4 kids. And she said that every time she gives birth, the guy comes to sleep with her just 4 days after. First child, second child, third child, and the 4th child. Even during the 4th child, while they were in the mix, she had a tear exactly where she was sutured in the hospital. And now the guy comes to tell, I said, why do you allow yourself to do that? And she said, the guy tells her that if you don't give it to me when I want, I've paid your bride price, I spent so much, they are Igbos. I spend, you know how much I spent, if you don't give it to me, I'll go outside, I'll get a second wife, So while I was doing my research, I saw manipulation as part of spousal rape in marriage. And I was wondering, so if she now has to present this in court, how does she get evidence? Would they even listen to her? They will say,
Does
okay,
she have a case?
Yes, does she really have a case? So these issues have been ongoing.
she does have a case. It depends on how you bring it. Thankfully, in Lagos, I think there's been an improvement of the law. But I don't think there's anything called spousal rape in marriage.
Okay.
Personal opinion, yes. I don't think, because I've dealt with some of them. I even have a case I told you about. I don't think, but I call it domestic abuse. It's different. Because you see, when we don't distinguish that line of consent, women can also turn the table and start to just abuse it and start to accuse men all the time. So sometimes you're not in the mood and your husband is trying to get you in the mood. You finally consider and say, okay, I wasn't in the mood, and you were seducing me and touching me, and then you don't understand what you're saying. When you see issues of such abuses in marriage that you call rape, there are serious cases of abuse. So a young lady...
There are cases of rape.
Let me just finish. There was a young lady who was brought into the hospital, rushed into the hospital. She was dilating at 28 weeks of pregnancy. When she narrated the incident to me, I understood this to be a complete abuse of her person, her right, by her husband. So I don't want us to use, I think we should use words carefully.
Okay.
Because of that thin line of,
Our guest will come in a bit later, so hopefully she can shed some light on this, because I know of an incident where a couple had a fight, right? And they went talking for about 2 days. But the man was getting to that point where he wanted to get intimate. And then he came home and she was still sulking over the issue they had. And then he just went straight at her, wanted to start, and she pushed him away. But he forced her. He forced her down and he raped her.
That's rape.
Now, would you call that domestic abuse? No, it was actual pure rape. She didn't want it, and she felt she had emotional issues to resolve with him first. So that was rape in her own view. And when that happened, because it was the first time, according to her, it kept happening. So anytime it became a trend. Because anytime it happened, the way they have issues, he didn't care about her feelings, her emotions. He pinned her down.
Why
I
insist on it, not calling it like that, is because, you know, there's that right of consent he has over that woman. He won't do that. He won't have that right.
What do you mean by right?
That right he won't have over any other woman. He married her.
What do you mean a right of consent?
So when we think, listen, the man, for instance, now thinks, this is the person I have that access with. That's the person. So why will you deny me? He's coming from that point of view where he thinks, I have that right with you. Why are you acting up?
But it's wrong, Nima.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is a domestic abuse.
Okay.
That's how I want to see it.
Yeah,
so I'm not in the mood. I'm not interested. I can say to you, when you come at me, you're abusing me domestically.
Yes.
And, you know,
let's go back to that consent
clearly.
thing. Why do you think because somebody paid dowry, so you paid the bride price,
You didn't
customary,
just pay.
because of that now, you have every right over that place?
You have the right over each other.
You know, some people will even quote the scriptures, 1 Corinthians 7:14, which says that your body belongs to your husband and your husband's body, yes, belongs to the wife. And so they have this mentality of lordship over their spouse, especially in Africa, where the man is the Lord and you call me Lord. So anytime I want it, whether you are in the mood or not. So it's all about mutual respect. Some men do not respect their wives enough to understand that sometimes it's okay for me to be tired and sometimes it's okay for me not to be in the mood.
All right.
So whether they come in the mood or not, when they want it, they want it.
Okay,
There's rape in marriage.
if you deprive your husband for 6 months, Unko, is it all right that he goes outside or?
Why will you deprive your husband for 6 months?
Some stubborn women now, they will now say
What's
that
the meaning
they
of
were
that?
raped.
Why are you in that marriage?
So
what's happening to
So
you?
you are sulking for 6 months. Some women sulk for 10 years.
What's the meaning
And
of
their
that?
husband is trying to touch them. They'll call you rape.
No, that one is extreme.
No,
That one is
listen,
extreme.
if I want to sulk for 5 years, let me sulk for 5 years.
What's that?
You as a man, you have a responsibility to get me to the point where I'm ready to do. If you cannot get me to that point, then forget it.
That's what I have a
Yeah, this
problem
is
with. You don't
Africa.
understand. I have seen women whose husbands try to get them to that point.
And
you
they
know,
refuse.
Because in Islam, we are our husbands' gardens.
Yeah, okay.
They are also to us. And people said it is wrong for a man not to warm up their women. So a man is in the act of foreplay and warming up your woman, and the woman wakes up the next morning after enjoying and say, you know that I'm still sucking. You have not even said sorry, do I wanted it. And I was raped against my will. That line of
That could happen.
Is the distinction. There are clear cases of domestic abuse.
Yes.
So you force a woman, tear her up.
Yes,
You know,
there are signs.
that's a clear case.
There are signs to that effect.
That's a clear case.
I'm talking about in the case where the woman is just, no, I don't want to do. I'm not in the mood.
That's a different
Wait,
situation.
should we do it the first month? The man will be looking. Second month, he will be looking. By the third month, man will say, I beg you, but you know, be wood, call me. Yeah.
And you're not forced. Is that right? Does it make it right though? Doesn't make it right,
He doesn't
Mikey.
have to beat her to do it now.
Yes,
he will
ma'am.
But
just
the moment
say,
you force yourself on your wife,
Yes,
it's
that's
rape.
what we're saying. But why will you deprive
But
a man
is it
for
like
one
that?
month,
Is it like
6
that?
months?
The moment
Thank God
you
we have an
force
expert.
yourself on your
what
wife,
do you call the woman
Force-
depriving
force
her
in
husband?
what terms?
Because there's a
that can then be
deprivation.
That can
there should
then
be a deprivation law as
Especially
well.
when they have consent rights to each other.
This consent rights thing. We have to get
Hey,
somebody
that's
to
marriage
understand.
now.
I'm even using the
No,
term
that's
tautology.
marriage.
Right,
Actually,
consent
now.
is the
So
same
what
thing.
is the man's own rights now? Because you can say no. Because if he touches you against your will,
you now
bam,
say-
it's rape.
You should go and do adultery.
The
It's
man
not a
must have rights too now. So
If
what
you
is his
deprive-
own rights when you keep depriving him?
So
I
that's-
know of someone that deprived their husband for 1 year.
What's that? I'm shocked. Like,
What is
Why?
shocking? He's not being shocked. It is
why
very
will you?
normal.
Why
It's
is it
normal
not
there.
normal? It's not normal.
Don't let anybody fake this thing for you.
No, it's not normal.
People are out there
It's
faking
not
this
normal.
issue.
Someone as I am, I
It's
can
not
deprive my
normal.
husband for 1
Well, I
year.
stand
If
with-
I'm not happy with him.
For what? Why will I not be happy? That was
Wait,
came to a
so what
point
do you
where I
want
don't
the
do
man
for a
to
year.
do?
Okay.
No.
Okay, what do you want the man? When you have been depriving him, what do you want him
Okay,
to
my
do?
fingers up. I stand the risk of being called raping my husband. If my husband doesn't come to me, I go to
Lock
him.
the door.
I lock the door.
Put him inside the room.
I will get him to that point. He will
And
do.
deal with him.
Is that rape?
He doesn't want-
That's not
You know
rape.
what? Let us calm down.
That's getting him to do.
Let's go on a break.
doesn't
Bring
want you
in our expert
Okay.
to come in because this is a bit more serious. I don't want us to trivialize this issue because there are some women out there being raped in marriages, and we
Serious
need to
issues.
take it seriously. When we
Yeah.
come back, our guests to help us shed some light on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us on the show is the Director, Citizens Mediation Center and member, Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, Lagos State, Omotola Rutimi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you.
You can give us a call on 070-806-68014. You could also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. You've heard all our conversations.
Oh, yes.
Is there any such thing as rape in marriage?
In law, no. Because Section 263 of the Lagos State criminal law says that there is no rape in marriage. However, that does not mean that there is no sexual assault or abuse,
Okay.
as she said during your discussion. So, because of, I think the law, what the law is trying to have behind it is that so that women or men don't deprive each other of their marital rights. So that's why the law says there's no rape in marriage. But it does not mean that there can't be sexual assault or domestic violence. And I will explain that. The reason being that where a woman, which it is not part of what you used to do. You know, some people, they like being slapped around when they are having intercourse, or maybe they like being tied down. It's part of their game.
Right.
And this is not the usual thing within when they are having a sexual intercourse, and the woman is tied down, beaten up, pop and blue, and then you can see all the marks and everything. Obviously, that's no longer a consensual sex or between the marriage anymore. It has now become what you would say a sexual assault or, like she said, domestic violence. Obviously, there's a violence within the two of them. So you can now, the lady can now take it from that angle.
What? Okay, let me pause you for a quick second, because there are some women who feel that, yes, I'm not being assaulted, I'm not being beaten up, but I'm being forced to do this thing without my
my will.
consent. Against my will.
Emotional.
Can I prove that in court as a married woman?
Well, no, unfortunately, no. Because like I said Section 263 says, in marriage, if you are married to each other, you
There's a
cannot
presumption of
show
consent, why
the issue of rape is no longer there.
Okay.
So for you now to say you want to prove it like an emotional thing, now I think you probably need to get a psychiatrist or somebody like that to actually prove that probably at that time that person is going through an issue which would now result to being regarded as being not consensual and obviously being an assault.
I don't want to trivialize it, but
Yes.
I'm sitting between two rapists now. Because they say if their husband cannot do it within 1 week, he must do by force, by fire.
Hey.
Is that not rape too? Or domestic violence?
Well, it's both sides, because the law did not say only women. You know, it could be either the man or it could be the woman. A man too can also claim that he was sexually assaulted as well, because it is not a woman thing alone, but both parties. Then I want to say something, because I had your conversation, I was quite, getting, excited about it. You see, when you are talking of a woman saying in another 5 years or maybe in another 2 years, or a woman is talking and everything, I think what happens there is communication breakdown. And you see, communication is very important in marriage. Communication is not only the verbal, body language, eye language, everything, you see. So it's communication, really. And if a marriage is disturbed, there are ways, because you know each other before you get married. There are ways that you can come to say, okay, a man does not have to physically say, I'm sorry to you, or verbally say, I'm sorry to you.
When they buy you
Maybe he buys you a gift, he puts it on the pillow, you let it go
Jehovah.
at that time. You know, you let, you know, your heart melt.
Ma,
Okay,
let's
let's
talk
I wanted
seriously.
to, okay.
So
Yeah.
I have seen some cases that I read of, and they were, for me, even though we know what the law is, for me, they were largely clear cases of rape. So a woman was upset with her husband, moved out of the house to her mother's house, and he's been coming to beg her. And then there was this need for something to happen which he didn't consider. So on a particular day when he visited, he saw that nobody was around. And he said, okay, I wanted a drink. Let's just share a drink. It's fine. And then he drugged her and had his way with her. Would that still come under consent? Because, you know, there was constraint in that marriage at the time.
The fact that the lady was drugged, I would stick that is an assault, really.
Yes.
Because, you see,
But
it
shouldn't
is
it
no
qualify
longer...
as rape?
Pardon?
Must the presumption in
is,
marriage?
You see, because you see, like I said, what the law says is there. We can't change what the law had said.
Wow.
But then, when it now comes to assaults, you know, you can bring it from different angles. You can even claim physical assaults and not even go to the issue of I was raped or it wasn't within my consent. Because, I mean, if somebody pounces on you and inflicts damage, cuts on you, or you know, you're bruised and everything, of course that is physical assault, without anything. Okay. So at least that will give the woman a sense of relief that, okay, if I cannot even get the rape, I can get sexual assault, I can get physical assault. And that would be a kind of compensation for the person.
I was reading up, and I know that in other countries, aside from Africa and Nigeria here, that there's marital rape.
Yes.
It's there.
Yes,
it
is.
can be proven in the court of law. But in Africa and in Nigeria, it seems as if because of our culture, when we marry, we like acquire the wife.
Not only culture, religion as well.
Yes.
So it's both.
Can't something be done to, because I know people who are being raped on a daily, and they're still in that marriage because they have nobody to cry to, nobody will listen to them.
Well, you see, in Lagos State now, there are ways that women can, you know, get a kind of succor, help. And that is why the Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team of Lagos is actually established to help victims of that are going through domestic violence or sexual violence, one way or the other.
Let me take this call from Yakub. Yakub, are you there?
Yeah, right. Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to your guest. I really enjoy your guest anytime that she came to that studio. I thank God that the people that enact our law, they make sure that there is no rape in marriage. Because if they made mistake to put it that there is rape in marriage, I think by now a lot of men have been at the back of the bar. Some of us will be in prison because, you know, some women, they are so trickish. In fact, some woman that you marry, whether if she asks you to give her something and then you are unable to provide it and then you want to have your way, you could have done it in the following day that you rape her. Yes. So if the law says that the rape in marriage is existing, by now the man will find himself in prison. I really thank God that there is no such thing in our law. And then put those to your...
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Thank you.
Let me go to the issue of denial.
Please, can you respond to
I'm trying
his...
not to laugh, really.
Yes, he's quite right that, yes, some people will probably take advantage of it if it was there, you know, both ways, you know. And the fact that we say there's no rape in marriage is to make sure that the family setting is not actually disintegrated, because if not, everybody will just, you know, abandon ship and they will just go at
everybody will be raped every day.
At the detriment of other people.
Let me come to the issue of denial, because, I mean, there's been a period, I mean, I hate to put my life out there, but it's important that people understand that I'm a human being, and it's important we're trying to help people out there. And I feel like a lot of people are just hiding these truths. There was a period in my life where nothing was happening because we had a lot of emotional baggage on both sides. And the communication, as you said, was fantastic because eventually we were great best friends. In everything we're best of friends. You couldn't see in between us, but that area just wasn't working. It wasn't just coming. But eventually, gradually, with communication, with therapy, somehow we got to that point where we're back. But you see, when we throw out a narrative that without this thing, the marriage is dead, or with that, if you want that, when the item is not, this ingredient is not there, the marriage is not a good marriage. people start believing that it's grounds for divorce, grounds for let me get away, grounds for I cannot stay in this marriage anymore. That's where I have an issue with that, because a lot of people are failing to actually fix it or work on it or pay attention to what they can do to fix that problem. So in your view and your experience, how in marriages where either there's denial or issues of rape, how can people find a way to fix this problem?
Okay, I agree with you that there are times that both parties might be going through emotional, problems and things like that, and they both know. So because they both know, they are understanding, they know each other, they know each other's body, and of course at that time, you give each other space, obviously. And then after some time, but you don't allow it to go for too long.
Yes.
That is it. But then about that time, like we say, you can see a clinical psychologist, both parties could. In Lagos State government now, the domestic violence response team, we have clinical psychologists that actually assist people, assist parties and partners, you see, to actually help them to go through all the trauma that they might be going through and things like that.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take some more calls and phone calls. Stay with us right back. And tweets.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's take some tweets. We have lots of tweets. Everybody, why
Okay,
here?
So
Adebayo
many-
here says, rape is serious, but emotional abuse is worse. When a party is emotionally abused in a marriage, it may lead to depression and ultimately suicide, especially when the victim does not receive any support from family or society. This person says, what do you describe emotional deprivation, especially in marriages? Would that be categorized as an abuse or what? That's a question.
Let me take this one. Oduayo says, isn't having sex one of the advantages or importance of getting married? Those spouses staying off sex 2 years to 5 years have issues beyond sex. And the issues are far, far beyond children.
Yes, CJ Lala says, of a truth, that is no longer a marriage. For me, if I get to that, I will divorce you and get married to someone else. Because I know, even as a Christian, I know, say, God no go vex for me. But for her, it helps us resolve our quarrel as responsible partners.
Here says, you people
This
are not
one, I
seeing
need
the
this
big
address.
picture. The fact there is no rape in marriage here doesn't mean there is no remedy for the woman. There could always be remedy where the man uses violence or restrains
Let's
her.
talk about remedy for a second, because we have domestic and sexual violence response team in Lagos State.
Yes.
How can they provide remedy for people going through this issue?
Oh, yes, we do. Because you see, the domestic violence response team is a team of different professions. We have doctors, we have psychologists, we have lawyers and everybody. From the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. It's just a consortium of so many ministries and agencies in Lagos State. And one of it, obviously, the health part, is the fact that a woman that has been abused, whether emotionally or sexually, can't get that clinical treatment or psychological help from the domestic violence response team. And then, of course, any victim at all, whether it is physical or emotional abuse or sexual abuse, whatever form of abuse, of course, the domestic violence response team is there to...
Let me take this call from Kanayo. Kanayo, are you there from Isolo?
Yes.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Morales.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, wonderful people.
Good morning.
So, my contribution goes like this. You know, I don't think it's rape as long as you are married to the woman. Even vice versa. At times, you can see a woman can force the man to, give it to her. Then the man can always ask the woman to give it to her. So I don't think it's a rape, in as much as both of them are married.
Okay, thank you very much, Kanayo. Let me let you. I wanted you to help me distinguish between. Yes, we've agreed.
Yes.
Legally, there's no rape in marriage.
Yes.
But there is sexual assault.
Yes.
So I want you to define that so people know
You see,
the difference.
Sexual assault is when you have a sexual intercourse with a person without the person's consent, or even when, as at that time, you use force. You know, you use force, you use coercion, intimidation, and all that manipulation, then it is sexual assault. That's the difference between rape and sexual assault. When we now talk, you see, when we are now saying all these things, because during one of your conversation, I recall that you mentioned about a woman that during just had yes, and 4 days after the man went on her and everything. You see, women have what we call reproductive rights. We have what we call reproductive rights. You have the right to your body. You have right to when you can have children together. You have the right for to choose this kind of contraceptives that you want.
In the law?
So, yes, you see, it is reproductive rights. So under that reproductive rights too, you have the right to be respected, your body to be respected. So under that right, women can get a lot of remedies. You know, instead of, you say, so most of the time when women come to me, I tell them, do not focus on the issue of the rape. Focus on the issue of the assault and your rights and the remedies that you can get. So that
okay, let me take this call from Eunice from Jos, and I'll come to you, Raiki. Eunice, are you there from Jos?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I wouldn't want us to end the conversation as though women are helpless, because at the end of the day, all I can get is that women don't really have, there's nowhere to go to, there's no help. I just want the guests to make professionally bring a solution out, make people understand, because I'm from the north, and men, some of the men will take concoctions and they come upon their women. And when you go to the hospital, you get bruises. Some of them are injured and they are married and there's no help. So I don't agree with the school of thought that there is really rape. There is abuse, as Nima said, but at the same time, there is subtle rape somewhere. Please, if there can be solutions to this, I need your guests to help.
Okay. I think you probably didn't get what we're saying, really, because we are saying that we are not saying that women cannot be sexually abused. We are not saying that. But when we are talking of within being married, the concept of marriage, then the law says that a woman cannot be raped. But that does not mean that a woman cannot seek protection under some other sections of the law, under domestic violence, and that is what we are trying to prove. Exactly, sexual abuse, and then under reproductive rights and all that. And then where do you now go to for such help? The domestic violence and sexual response team of Lagos State is there. In fact, we have, I don't know, can I the numbers? Yes. And then you know, for instance, you know, you can call the number 081-379-60048. I'll repeat that. Repeat it again. 081-379-60048. And then even on you can send text messages. You can dial *6820# to report a case of rape, domestic violence, child abuse, or any form. And then you know that even in Lagos State now, like I said, then even if you want to speak to the clinical psychologist, the numbers are 090-6288-7865. I'll repeat it, 090-6288-7865. And then apart from the domestic violence response team, let me quickly, you know, people go to the police station and then they now say, oh, I've been sexually assaulted, I've been raped and everything. But they go to the counter. Unfortunately, the counter is the wrong place to go. Ask for a special family unit. They are trained. It's called a gender desk unit. And we have 11 of them in Lagos State. We have Adeniji Adele, Isokoko, Ilupeju Police Station.
Well, you know what? We'll post the details because you see, we can't conclude this conversation. People need help. We can't exhaust in this conversation.
So if people go to the police station, they should just ask for the gender desk or special family unit.
Because even the tweets, there are a lot of tweets that I would have wanted you to
I wanted to add to what you were saying quickly. What Eunice is saying is, we need to redefine rape now to cover, to take out the presumption of consent within marriage. So we should be talking to our lawmakers. So if you're closer to a lawmaker, they should be amending our criminal laws to allow spousal rape.
Yes.
Under certain circumstances.
Like other
fall
countries.
into
Yeah.
rape.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take. Unfortunately, that's all we can take. Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. I hope you've learned. In 3 weeks, we've been on this issue of rape. Hope you've learned a few things. We'll post all the numbers on our social media handles and also the various places where you can find the family units in the police station. So when you have a rape issue, you can go to certain stations where you know you get help. Hope you learned something. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Domestic violence response team.